The river had always been sacred, a shimmering expanse of silver and blue that held secrets older than time. The elders of Dungar warned of the forbidden waters, whispering tales of a vengeful guardian, a white tiger that prowled beneath the depths, cursed by an ancient sea sorcerer. But greed blinds men, and one fateful night, a group of reckless fishermen dared to venture into the forbidden currents, seeking rare and valuable fish. They laughed at the warnings, casting their nets where no mortal should. The waters were eerily still at first, the jungle beyond the river holding its breath. Then, a sudden roar, deep, guttural, filled with fury, rippled through the night. The river turned black as shadows twisted beneath its surface. The fishermen screamed as something massive surged toward them, its glowing amber eyes the only warning before their boats were shattered into splinters. The lone survivor, an old fisherman named Rattan, washed ashore, his body bruised and his mind shattered with terror. The tiger. It wasn't just a beast, he whispered to the villagers gathered around him. It spoke. It cursed us all. The village elder's face darkened. The curse has awakened, he murmured. And it will not stop until the debt is paid. Panic spread through Dupgar. Livestock vanished, eerie growls echoed through the night, and the river ran red with the blood of those who dared approach its shores. Among the villagers stood Surya, a brave young boy whose father had been lost to the river years ago. Determined to uncover the truth and save his people, Surya sought the guidance of the river priestess, Nayantara, a mysterious Jalpari, half-human, half-mermaid, who had guarded the waters for centuries. Nayantara, with her silver hair and piercing, ocean-blue eyes, emerged from the depths. The white tiger is no ordinary beast, she told Surya. It was once a man, a great warrior betrayed by the sea sorcerer Vahirak. His soul is trapped in endless torment, bound to the river until the curse is broken. Surya clenched his fists. Then tell me how to break it. Nayantara hesitated. The only way is to confront the sorcerer's spirit at the shrine hidden within the Mangrove Caverns. But be warned, the path is treacherous, and the sorcerer's minions guard it well. With the fate of his village hanging in the balance, Surya set out on his perilous journey, accompanied by Rattan and a few brave warriors. The jungle was alive with unseen dangers. Glowing eyes watched from the underbrush, whispers slithered through the trees, and the river itself seemed to pulse with dark energy. As they neared the Mangrove Caverns, the air grew thick with an unnatural mist, and the temperature plummeted. An eerie chanting echoed from within the cavern, the voice of the sorcerer waiting for his next victims. Turn back, a ghostly voice warned, but Surya gritted his teeth. No, this ends tonight. With his heart pounding and his torch flickering, against the shadows Surya stepped into the darkness, ready to face whatever horrors lay ahead. The battle to break the curse of the white tiger had begun. The river roared with fury as the sorcerer's spectral form towered over them, his hollow eyes burning with malevolent fire. Dark tendrils of cursed energy coiled around the shrine, threatening to crush the last hope of breaking the white tiger's torment. You cannot undo what was written in blood, the sorcerer thundered. His voice cracked like 1,000 waves crashing against jagged rocks. Nayantara, her silver hair flowing wildly, spread her arms, summoning the waters to rise. We will end your darkness. The river remembers the injustice you wrought, and tonight, it will reclaim what was lost. Her voice, a blend of sorrow and defiance, echoed across the mangroves as the currents surged with newfound power. Surya, gripping the ancient amulet, stepped forward. We must weaken his hold over the tiger before the final incantation. He turned to Anik and Rattan. Strike the enchanted stones surrounding the shrine. It will sever his control over the river. Without hesitation, the two brothers grabbed heavy rocks and hurled them at the glowing sigils embedded in the shrine's walls. With each impact, the sorcerer howled in pain, his form flickering like a dying flame. The white tiger, trapped within, a vortex of silver mist let out a mighty roar, a roar filled with centuries of agony and fury. The waters churned violently, and the shrine trembled under the weight of the battle. The ancient spells binding the river groaned against the force of Nayantara's magic. The sorcerer lashed out, sending a shockwave through the air, knocking Surya and the others back. "You cannot defeat me! The river is mine!" he bellowed. Shadows rose from the depths, twisted spirits bound to his will, their hollow wails piercing through the night. Nayantara gritted her teeth, her body glowing with the power of her ancestors. "The river was never yours, and neither is the warrior's soul you have imprisoned." She turned to her mother, Queen Veronal, who had been freed from her icy prison. "We must awaken the guardian spirits. They alone can purge this evil." The queen nodded and raised her arms, chanting in an ancient tongue. The waters trembled, and from the depths, luminous figures began to rise, warriors of the lost kingdom, their spectral armor gleaming under the moonlight. Surya, regaining his strength, charged at the sorcerer, dodging a wave of black energy that erupted from the shrine. He reached into his satchel and retrieved a vial filled with sacred river water. "This will break your hold," he shouted, and hurled the vial toward the sorcerer's heart. The glass shattered, and the enchanted water burned through the sorcerer's form like acid. The spirits let out a collective cry and surged forward, their weapons clashing with the shadows. The battle raged as the tide turned against the dark sorcerer. The white tiger, sensing the shift in power, roared once more, its massive form convulsing as if something deep within it was fighting to be free. "Now!" Nayantara cried. She and her mother chanted in unison, weaving their hands in intricate patterns. The amulet in Surya's grasp pulsed with radiant energy. The white tiger shuddered violently, its eyes flickering between rage and sorrow. The spectral warriors formed a protective circle, holding back the dark spirits. With a final surge of energy, Nayantara released a torrent of light, striking the sorcerer directly in the chest. His form shrieked, writhing in agony as his essence began to unravel. "No, this is not how it ends," he howled. But the river had already passed its judgment. The water surged upward like a tidal wave, consuming him whole. The spirits of the warriors, their duty fulfilled, bowed their heads before vanishing into the ether. The shrine crumbled, its ancient curse finally undone. The white tiger let out one last earth-shaking growl before its form dissolved into shimmering dust. In its place, a man collapsed to the ground, weak, trembling, but free. He lifted his gaze to Nayantara, his eyes filled with recognition. You freed me," he whispered, his voice raw with emotion. "You were always meant to be free," she replied gently. The river, now calm and pristine, reflected the rising sun. As the villagers of Dungar gathered by the riverbank, the legend of the white tiger came to an end. But a new legend had begun. Nayantara, her mission fulfilled, turned to Surya. "The river will need a new protector," she said softly, "and you have proven yourself worthy." Surya bowed his head, accepting the responsibility. As the waves lapped at her feet, Nayantara looked toward the horizon. "My time in these waters is over. I must find my people and rebuild what was lost." With a final glance at the river she had guarded for so long, she disappeared beneath the surface, her silver tail glimmering in the sunlight. The villagers would speak of this night for generations. The legend of the white tiger had ended, but the river remained eternal,